What's going on, fam? CA for Jesus here, back with another off the cuff. So today's title, How God Speaks. So I was listening to a sermon from Mark Driscoll. Highly recommend all you guys go and check him out. He's just a man's man, and he's what we need right now in this very feminized world, especially this feminized Christian church movement. It's really just destroying men. It's confusing men on who they're really supposed to be. So check out Mark Driscoll. This guy is awesome. So anyways, this sermon that I'm watching, it's called, if you guys want to go check it out, it's called How Can We Stand Against the Ahab and Jezebel Spirits of Today? Now, this video is not going to be talking about Ahab and Jezebel specifically, but this is the sermon that I was listening to, and it gave me, there's a portion of it about a quarter of the way through that really just made me want to just hop on here and talk to you guys. So he talks about how God speaks to us, and there's 6 different types. So if you have your notepads ready, jot these down. This is going to bring a lot of insight for you guys. So we have thinkers, we have seers, hearers, feelers, we have doers, and then we have outliers. Now, some of you might be really strong in one, or you might just not resonate with another. Some of you might be really strong in one, you're semi-strong in another, or you might just have a little bit of all 6. Everybody's a little bit different, but the important thing is that we have to recognize how God speaks to everyone individually and how we can put our heads together to understand the spiritual realm much more. Okay? So start with the thinker. So I'm a little bit of a thinker, all right? It hurts me, and I'm trying to be a little bit less, because I sometimes end up in analysis paralysis because I'm overthinking too much. That's not the goal when God talks to you. He's trying to get you to wrestle with certain things, but eventually we got to go. So thinkers like to do research. I'm just checking my notes here, guys. I just want to make sure I get all these points in. So thinkers like to do research. We like to do our homework. We like to make sure we really know, okay, it's a good thing. So in a way we're doing thorough exegesis, okay? We don't just take, sometimes a word is just like, it's plain, it's simple, it's clear. We don't have to go on a wild goose chase to try to figure out what it means. Other times it's more symbolic. Other times there's, and then there's historical context around things too, which are really important. So doing our research, doing our homework, this is good. We're strategizing, we're planning. This is very valuable for to have people who are thinkers. We have seers, so people who see things in dreams, or while they're awake, they have visions, they have images of the future. I also have a little bit of this as well. I can see someone and say, I don't trust that person. They're going to do something really evil and manipulative, and nobody else sees it. And when people aren't seers, they look at people who are seers like, you're crazy, you're a conspiracy theorist, oh, you're just, give that person a chance. And it's like, nope, God already showed me what's going to happen, either through a dream, through a vision, either or. So we got thinkers, we got seers, we have hearers. Okay, so hearers, a little bit more simple, and not that this is a bad thing. This can serve you really well. So you're simple, you're reading the word, and God highlights something when you're reading that word, and it just clicks like that. No need to do any like wild goose chase to figure out what that means. It's just God shows you right then and there, and that's it. It's just one example that Pastor Mark Driscoll, what he's talking about. He's like, God told me, I was ending this sermon and everybody was walking out the door. He said, go find Mike. It's like, what? Mike? Who's Mike? And then in this big crowd of dudes, he's telling them, oh, that's Mike. Go greet Mike. Go talk to him. And then he goes and taps the guy on the shoulder and he's like, hey man, thanks for coming. So nice to have you here, Mike. And the dude is like, whoa, how did you know my name? And he's like, God told me to find Mike. And this is another category where people are like, oh, really? God talked to you? Oh, what did he say? People will mock, people with a mocking spirit that, don't hear, or they're not hearers. In this case, they'll mock someone who is a hearer. But it's important that this is just one of the ways that God speaks to us, right? Next one, and this is the one that I identify with the most, feeler. Okay, so when you just have a gut feeling, it's like, yeah. So I feel like the Holy Spirit really lives in my gut primarily, because I'll be in a situation, an environment around someone, or around a group of people, in a neighborhood, in a city, in a building, and I get a gut-wrenching feeling. Sometimes I feel it in my chest. My chest will tighten up, blood pressure will go up, heart rate will go up, and so I'm primarily a feeler, and they do say your gut is like your second brain, so that makes sense, right? Sometimes, you just sense things and you're not too sure about it in the moment, and so that's where my thinking part of my brain comes in. I'm not too sure in the moment, but I'm learning now of just like, do it, dude. You get that gut feeling, you just go on it, and if you're wrong, God will correct you. If you're right, then that's just more confirmation. That's strengthening your faith even more. So hallelujah to that, right? But sometimes you just get a sense. You get a sense about someone. You get a sense about a situation. You get a sense about a job, an environment, whatever, and you just got to go with it. And not everybody's going to understand. Like, sometimes it's like, okay, that's just my flesh talking, and I need to think more logical and less emotional. And that's what we need to do as men, especially, because thinking emotional, we're not going to be able to make rational, quick, proactive, bold, biblical, masculine decisions that we're called to do. We got to make quick decisions sometimes. But this actually causes, some conflict with my wife, because she's not really a feeler at all. She's more of I think she's more of a hearer. She's really, really, and then more of a thinker too. Like I got to see all the research, really, really sensitive to the verbiage that I use when I talk about certain things. But hey, if we can understand that about each other and respect that and embrace that, be like, okay, you're more of a thinker, I'm more of a feeler, he's more of a doer, she's more of a seer, whatever. So anyways, I'm primarily a feeler, and I'm learning to see how that is a disadvantage to me, and how I can adjust in certain ways, thinking more logical, thinking more objective, less emotional, okay? But in other times, when you get that gut feeling of like, this person can't be trusted, they got that Jezebel spirit, I just have this gut feeling this person's lying to me. That's a good thing, right? That's discernment. That's God speaking to you right there. All right, so the next one is doer. So this is what I'm trying to do, and doer will sometimes the thinker will get in the way of the doer, because they'll be like, well, I don't want to make a move until I'm absolutely sure. But that's what I was doing. I was getting analysis paralysis. Now I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to stay active. I'm just going to go. I'm just going to do it, and God will redirect me. He just wants me to take action. Action is better than no action, right? God calls us to take action, to get in the game. faith is dead without works. We got to put in that work, get in the game. Sometimes we got to fall flat on our face and be like, eat a big slice of humble pie and just say, God, I was wrong. You showed me very clearly that I was wrong, and now you're redirecting my steps. So he says in this sermon, he says, doers just stay active and they pivot. She's like, I don't know exactly where I'm going, but I'm just going to do it. And God's just going to guide me. He's going to redirect my steps along the way. And I'm going to fall very smoothly into the path that God has me on. So right now I'm practicing on being more of a doer. Last, but certainly not least, outliers. So what he talks about in the sermon, outliers being, an angel showed up. An angel appeared in my room. I heard the audible voice of God. It was this big, bold, deep voice. I just saw like a supernatural experience. I had a supernatural experience where I woke up and I was blind, and all of a sudden I could see. These things happen in the Bibles, but there's going to be people that knock that too, because they're not an outlier. So they're not going to fully understand that. They're going to question that, Well, I've never seen somebody get healed who was blind and now they can see. It's like, dude, have you not read Matthew, Mark, and Luke? I mean, these signs follow them who believe. We can cast out demons, we can speak in tongues, heal the sick, raise the dead, we can give sight to the blind, all right? And we're doing it in Jesus' mighty name. He gave us that authority. He gave us that power if we believe. But God also gives us different strengths, and but not to say that we can't hone in on all of this. If you're more of a seer, doesn't mean you can be more of a thinker, or just because you're a feeler doesn't mean you can't be more of a doer. So this was just gold right here when I heard this. So how God speaks: thinkers, seers, hearers, feelers, doers, and outliers. I know that this helps someone. If it did, hit that like button, comment down below. Let me know what you think. Tell me how it helped you. Tell me which one of these, are you primarily. What do you need help on? Let's help each other out on this channel. All right. Let's minister to each other. Let's share this message with the lost sheep out there. Help bring confirmation to those that are feeling confused. I mean, when I get these gut feelings, sometimes I'm confused. I'm like, is this just my flesh, or is this God talking? And so this was just so much confirmation and revelation for me watching this video. It was just amazing. So highly recommend it. The sermon's called "How Can We Stand Against the Ahab and Jezebel Spirits of Today?" It's Pastor Mark Driscoll. His channel's called Real Faith with Mark Driscoll, I believe it is. So shout out to him, doing God's work, making men strong again, building up men to be godly men, and what that truly means. So God bless you, Mark Driscoll. Love you, brother. So I know this helps someone. I love you all so much. Of course, subscribe to the channel. Y'all have a blessed Saturday.